If they keep doing that over and over again, they're not going to build muscle. They're going to get injured because they're not doing the exercise correctly. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Welcome to Life of a CISO. I'm Dr. Eric Cole, your host, and we'll be taking you on a journey each week on what it takes to be a CISO and what are solutions that you can implement today if you are currently a Chief Information Security Officer or if you want to be one in the future. This is Life of a CISO. Welcome to this week's edition of Life of a CISO with yours truly, Dr. Eric Cole, where we get to spend some time together talking about what it means to be a world-class CISO. And as I covered last week's episode, the world needs you. If at night you look in the sky, you should see that Batman light that says CISO, right? Companies need you, but are you willing to accept that calling? And to me, the big thing is one of my favorite phrases, because to me it's so true. Life is a game. Life is a game. Business is a game. It really is a game. And what I like about that is games are constant feedback loops. They are giving you data nonstop that if you actually utilize that data, you can use it to be able to win any possible game. One of my favorite phrases is let data drive decisions, not emotions. So many of us get emotional, we get upset, we get frustrated, we make bad decisions, but we don't step back and look at the data. Let's just make this real simple. Why does a team lose a game? And you could pick football, baseball, basketball, whatever sport it is that you like. Now, I usually, when I ask that question, when I do keynotes on this topic, I'll usually get responses like, well, they had better players, or they had better plays, or they had better coaches, or they had injuries, or the weather, right? And they're circling around the airport. Yes, those do have some potential impact. But the real reason, if we really want to get root cause, the reason why a team loses a game is they didn't listen to the data and adapt and adjust their game plan. It's really that simple. I don't watch TV. I don't really watch sports or attend sports. My preference is I'd much rather invest in reading, spending time with family, other things. But there's this rule that if you own a gym or a fitness center, it is required by law that you must have ESPN Sports Center on all your TVs 24/7. It must be, because I travel around and I always find a local gym. Yes, when it comes to my health and my fitness, I am a gym snob. I don't use hotel gyms. I just don't like them. I like a full-blown gym. So I always find a local gym near the hotel that's walking distance. There always is. And I always go to those gyms and work out because, to me, this is critical for me to fulfill my purpose and mission. I'm not going into health on this one. I got too much other great stuff to talk to you about. But I do that, and I would tell you every gym in the United States must be required by law to be showing ESPN. So I inadvertently, because depending on where I'm going, I just finished my cut, and now I'm bulking, which means you're typically resting 60 to 90 seconds, sometimes longer between sets. So you have a little time on your hands. So you talk to folks, you do some cardio, but you also watch TV inadvertently because there's 800 TVs and they're required by law to show ESPN. And I'll watch some of these games. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I forget which game it was yesterday, but a player was off. It was basketball. So they shoot it to the player. and he tries a corner 3 shot and he misses it. Normally he hits it, but he missed it. They did it again, and he missed it. And they did it again, and he missed it. And because what I love about ESPN is they give you all the highlights, they give you the data, which I love data. That's one of the reasons why I do it. He missed that shot 17 times. The reason why they lost the game was not because that player was off. It was not because he was injured. It was not because of the weather. It was because they didn't adapt and adjust their game plan. If you knew that that person is missing after 2, wouldn't most people have changed? 3, 4, right? What's the definition of insanity? Doing something over and over and over again, expecting different results. And just like that team, what they did was insane, and they lost the game because they didn't adapt and adjust. They kept trying to force a play that wasn't going to work that night. How many times do we do the same thing in our own life? How many times do we go in and run the same play over and over and over again, and we make the same mistake? There are phrases that people use that I'm like, why? They don't make any sense, right? The one I'm going to focus on today is this phrase you hear all the time. Practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't. If you're practicing the wrong thing, you know how many people in the gym I see exercising incorrectly and wrong? If they keep doing that over and over again, they're not going to build muscle. They're going to get injured because they're not doing the exercise correctly. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. It's just going to permanently instill in you bad habits, right? So this idea that, oh, I'm doing something over and over and over again means I'm going to get better at it. Not if you're doing it wrong. Not if you're not doing it incorrect, right? It's making it permanent. It's not making it perfect. So what we want to do, and you'll see where I'm going in a second with all this. I'm going to put it all in a box with a nice bow on it. But what you need to do is, if you want to become a world-class CISO, you need to go in and execute, adapt, and adjust based on the data, and run new plays if the current plays you're running are not working. And I'll give you 2 examples. The first example, world-class CISOs are thought leaders. They share knowledge with others. They put content out on the internet. And I've given this challenge, if you're a frequent listener, you know I've given this many, many times. And my question is, how many of you have actually done the 45-day challenge, which is twice a day? Twice a day, you produce 2 to 3 minute videos. You don't need a studio like this. You don't need fancy cameras. You don't need an editing team. You need one of these, and every one of these has them. Trust me. You wouldn't be able to watch my CISO podcast if you don't have one of these. So everybody has a cell phone that has a camera. You just take it out and shoot a video, 2 to 3 minutes. And remember, 2 rules. Rule 1, no retakes. You're a one-take wonder. Whatever it is, whatever picking your nose, I don't care. You put the video out there. You don't retake it. Because if you start retaking it, that 2-minute project is going to take 3 hours, and it's going to consume your life, and you're not going to do it. Second, don't watch your own videos. Don't watch your own videos because you're never going to like it, and in the beginning, you're not very good at it. Now, that's important to build a discipline. Practice makes permanent. So the point of the 45 days is to get permanent at producing 2 videos. 2 videos a day. Pick a time, 9 and 4, 10 and 3, whatever works for you, and just produce them and put them out there. So the first point of that 45-day is to really get the permanent of producing the videos. However, the next phase after the 45 that I give you is to adapt and adjust. Many of your videos are going not to be stinky poo-poo. They're not going to be good. Nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect at this, so not going to be good. So the point is, the reason I do 45 days and not 365 days is because if you just every day produce 2 videos, 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., 2 videos that you produce and put it out there, practice makes permanent, but because they're not very good and you're not doing anything to change and get better, you're going to have a lot of really, really bad videos. So that's why you do 45 days. And what do you do after the 45 days? You look back and say, what are the 3 or 4 videos that got more likes and more comments over all the other videos? Then and only then do you watch those 3 videos and say, what made them different? What did I do in that video that was different? What did I do in that video that was unique? What did I do in that video that stood out from all the other videos? And then you do more of it. You do more of that over and over again. And that's how you get really good content, by looking at the data, adapting, adjusting, and building the better game plan. The second area where I want you to really look at the data, and remember that practice makes permanent, practice doesn't make perfect, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. So what I'm going to do now is basically go over with you how every single one of you, if you do what I say and put in the time, energy, and effort, can become a CISO in 12 months or less. Can't guarantee it. I wish I could, because it works if you do it, but my attorneys don't let me guarantee, because you have to do the work. So if you don't show up, right, then the guarantee's out the window. So no guarantees here. And if you're currently a CISO, this will get you a CISO, better salary, better position, better compensation at a bigger company, if that's what your desire and choice is. Now, most can do it in a shorter period of time. But I just want to give you a little longer runway here. So there's basically 3 steps. If you want to become a CISO, you need to get an interview, you need to ace the interview, and you need to do follow-up. And like I said, I'm gonna cover the 10-minute version here just to get you started. We do have a multi-hour paid version. It's one of our lower end costs, so very low cost to entry, that we also go in and run, that will go through the process in a lot more detail, a lot more depth, and give you step-by-step execution on it. But I just wanted to give you a little flavor for it. But if that's something of interest, just ecole, E-C-O-L-E, at secure-anchor.com, and my team will get that to the right person if you're interested in that. But I'll give you the high level that you can execute on. So those are the 3 basic steps. First, getting an interview. Getting an interview is based solely on your resume. That is your sole purpose of your resume or CV, is to get an interview. That's it. That is its sole purpose. It's not to get you a job. It's not to get you the second interview. It's not to get you anything else. There is a job. You submit your resume or CV. They determine whether you are good enough to have an interview based solely on that piece of paper. That's its sole purpose. So what you want to do right now is test it out. So you want to take whatever CV you have, whether it's good or bad, and I want you to apply to 20 jobs, 20 CISO jobs. And all I want you to look at is how many interviews did you get? If you got 0 interviews, then you should basically burn your resume. It's awful. It's awful. If you're getting 5 to 10, okay, tweak it. You could do better. You should be getting about 50 to 75%. And if you are getting 12 to 15 interviews out of 20, your resume is solid. I still always believe that you should tweak to see if you can get it better, right? But you're in pretty solid shape there. Here's where the definition of insanity comes in. Is folks go in and send out 20 resumes, they get 0 interviews, so what do? They send out 20 more, and 20 more, and 20. So now, Eric, I sent out 200. Yeah, but you're running the same play, and you're missing the 3-shot, the 3-point. You're passing to the person, yes. That person normally makes the 3-point shot. But tonight they're missing it, and you keep running the same play, and you keep missing the shot. That's insanity. So stop that. After 20, evaluate. Now, here's the irony. Most folks and most individuals I work with, they don't even do the insanity. They do the super insanity, which is assume that no one is interested and do 0 work and just sit back and complain. I actually, to be honest with you, I wish most people would send out 100 resumes, because most people don't. Most people send out 3, they don't get an interview, and they give up and say, I'm not CISO material, and they're pissed off and frustrated. So most people won't even put in the work, right? But the point is, let's be the best, which is 20, adapt and adjust. So the next 2 months, all I want you to focus on is getting a resume that generates 50 to 75% interview based on submission. So the way you do that is right now, this week, I want you to take your current CV or resume, and I want you to submit it to 20 CISO jobs around the country. Heck, around the world. But Eric, I'm not ready. I know. We're not going for the job now. There's multi-steps here. It's going to take you time to do this, so you got to start now. All I want you to do is for the next 2 months is focus on getting a resume that is going to generate 50 to 75% interviews from submission. But Eric, I'm not ready for a job. You're not listening to me. We're not applying for the job. But Eric, what if I get those interviews? Great, take them. Isn't that a skill you need to build up? Most people haven't interviewed for a CISO job. In your lifetime, let me ask you a question. In your current lifetime on this planet Earth, how many CISO interviews have you done? Right now, sitting here today, how many? Most of us, it's less than 5 or 0, which means you're not very good at it by mere fact that you haven't done it. Now, yes, that's step 2, but getting good at interviewing, isn't that a good skill? Isn't that a good skill set to have? So why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you, if you're getting interviews, that's great. Why wouldn't you take them and learn and adapt and adjust and get better at that skill set? Why not do that? And it's funny because it's like we're not communicating, because people are like, but Eric, I'm not looking for a job. Of course not. Your focus is to tweak your resume. And if doing so, you happen to get skills with interviewing, that's a bonus. Now let me just play this forward. So you're telling me sitting here today, Eric, in 12 months, I would like to be a CISO. And let's say you do what I'm saying and all the stars align. Everything magically aligns. And you go in and you're one of the rare few that have an amazing resume. You submit that resume to 20 jobs. You get 15 interviews. You do the interviews, you do follow-up interviews, and in 3 months, you get offered a CISO position where you're getting twice as much as you're getting now. It's exactly what you wanted. It's the perfect job. And you got it in 3 months instead of 12 months. How many of you are really going to be pissed? How many are really going to be angry and mad? No one. So do you see how this is all magic, right? It's all good. It's probably not going to happen, but if it did, who cares, right? So you get a job in 3 months instead of 12 months. Why are you waiting? Why are you waiting to start the process when it could take 12 months? So first thing, the next 2 months, depending on when you listen to this, that's my reminder that I needed to record this episode, and I'm ahead of schedule. Woohoo! Eric's in the house, right? Usually I'm behind schedule, so I'm actually happy with myself here. Woo-hoo! So ahead of schedule. So 20 minutes ahead of schedule. I actually started 20 minutes early. Woohoo! So depending on when you listen to this, it should be somewhere in May. Let's give you benefit of the doubt. Let's assume it's the end of May. And so that means June and July. So by August 1st, we're setting a goal that you will have a resume by August 1st that will generate 10 to 15% interviews. 50 to 75%, 10 to 15 out of 20. So if you submit 20, you get 10 to 15 interviews. So you're getting a 50 to 75% response rate or higher on your CV. You win. If not, why not? Why are you playing small? I'm spoon feeding you. I'm showing you what you need to do to become a CISO, and you don't want to listen to me. What do you have to lose? I'll tell you. Worst possible case scenario. If you believe that none of this is true and none of this works, let's be honest. If you believe I'm full of you know what, then why are you listening to me? Right? But let's just say it doesn't work. So what'll happen is you'll spend some time, and in a year, you will have a top-notch resume. You will have gone on hundreds of interviews, and you will have a ton of experience and knowledge. That's worst case. Best case scenario, you'll have the job of your dreams being a CISO at a top organization. I don't know about you. Seems like a no-brainer. The risk is not really a risk, right? Worst case scenario puts you in a better position than where you are, and the outcome gets you where you want. So why wouldn't you execute on this? So what I want you to do is take your current CV this week. We have 2 months. This week, I want you to send it out to 20. Then, if you're getting 0, trash it. If you're getting 8 to 10, adjust it. 10 to 15 out of 20, you're good. And then I want you, after you readjust it and do a new version, send it to 20 again. And did you improve? If not, start over. If you did, tweak it. And keep doing this every week. You're going to send out to 20 jobs every single week. You're going to do this for 8 weeks, right, over 2 months. And each week you're going to look at the data and adjust, adapt, and change. And if you truly do that, you will have a top-notch CV. But Eric, what do I adapt and adjust? Excellent. Few things. First, you want to highlight strategic things in your work experience. You do not want to talk about anything technical because you'll get filtered out. You don't want to go in and talk about how you did a network redesign. You want to talk about how you briefed the executive team on cybersecurity. You don't want to go in and talk about how you rolled out a new SIM that reduced false positives in the organization. You want to talk about how you created a risk management program for the entire organization to give business to give cybersecurity KPIs to the business. All right, notice the difference, strategic versus technical. You want to make sure it reads like a CISO. But Eric, how do I know what that is? Couple things. Spend some time researching other CISOs. There's a lot of chief information security officers that have their CVs out on the internet. Right? Many people do that. They have it on their websites. They have it out there. So start looking at other CISOs and saying, okay, strategic, not strategic. Yes, no, this, that. Then here's my favorite exercise. It's one of the most powerful exercises. I want you to go in and create a fictitious character. This fictitious character, based on all your research, is the ultimate CISO, the world-class CISO, the best CISO you've ever seen. And I want you to write their resume. What skills would this person have? What jobs would they have? What would they have done? What would they have accomplished? And I just want you to spend time building out this amazing resume. Then after it's done, I want you to take a highlighter and I want you to start reading it and really not lying, not BSing, but just being truly creative, because many of you don't give yourself enough credit. Which of these skills do you really have? And start highlighting them in yellow. And I will almost guarantee you have a lot more than you realize. You're going to get done going, wow, I didn't realize how much yellow. I didn't realize how many of these skills I really have. I just never thought of them because they weren't my primary job. It doesn't matter what your primary job is. For a resume, it only matters, did you perform the job? That's all that matters. If you did it once, if you worked at a company for 6 years and 90% of your job was patching servers, but once in 6 years, you brief the executive board, then guess what? That's what you talk about. You talk about you brief the executive. It's true, you did. But you only did it once. You're not lying. But that's the mindset. You need to look at the things that you did 5% of your time, because most of you, if you're security engineers or world-class security engineers, 90% of your job was technical and 5 to 10% was strategic. So what we're trying to do here is highlight in your CV what you did 5 to 10% of the time. That's how you get the job. So that's going to be the first thing over 2 months. Then once that resume is perfected, then phase 2 is interviewing. The goal of an interview is to get the next interview. And typically, to become a CISO, you're going to have to do 5 to 7 interviews. You're going to get an HR, then you're going to get a pre-screening, then you're going to get executives and others. So it's going to be about 5 to 7 interviews. So the next data I want you to track is how many interviews per position are you getting? If you're only getting 1 or 2 interviews and they never call you back, that means you're talking way too technical. You're not talking business. You're not talking executive. So you then need to go in and focus more on it. I'll tell you the number one reason why you don't get the next interview is because you don't know the company. I talk to HR folks, I talk to executives, and they go, Eric, we have these generic candidates that want to generically talk about cybersecurity. I had one HR director go, Eric, here's the question. I'm going to ask the candidate, what is our business? And if they can't answer it, they're done. I had another executive go, Eric, I'm going to ask the candidate 2 questions. What is the general range of our revenue for our company? And who are our top 3 competitors? And if they can't answer that, they're done. So the issue is you need to talk strategic and talk to business, but you need to research. A CISO is a business position, and you need to research the company. If you don't know and understand the company, this is so different. Security engineer, care less about the company. right? As long as you can do the work, if you can configure routers and firewalls and you can monitor SIMs and reduce false positives and do all that stuff, who gives a crap what the company does, right? So security engineers don't need to research the company. They need to hone in on their technical skills. That's the problem. You need to break, and switch. If you're now going to a CISO, all you talk about is the business, and you need to spend 5 to 7 hours researching the business before you go into the interview. That's how you perfect it. Then the last phase is you just want to follow up. You just want to constantly follow up with the company. This is the other big mistake. Most people go, oh, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to bug the company. Do you really think showing interest and excitement for a position is going to hurt you? Do you really think they're going to go in and say, we were going to give the job to Eric, but because he followed up 3 times, we're not going to give it to him? Nobody does that. It's the opposite. I hear over and over again, Eric, we were going to give a position to this candidate, but they didn't do any follow-up. They never followed up. They never said thank you. They never gave us an email. We heard nothing from them for 2 weeks. Why would we hire that person? So the third and most important phase is show interest. Why aren't you, very politely, but why aren't you every 2 to 3 days just following up, giving a little tidbit, giving a little piece of advice, showing how excited you are to join the company? Why wouldn't you actively engage? That's where most people blow it. So I'll tell you right now, you do those 3 things where you let the data drive the decision and you keep adapting and adjusting and not making the same mistake over and over again. Why I can't guarantee, and there's no guarantees in life, if you actually believe in yourself and invest in yourself and put in the time, there is absolutely no reason in less than 12 months you will not be able to have the job of your dreams. And if you put in the work, energy, and effort, you will absolutely become a world-class CISO.